Hi everybody, I'm back again. Wanted to share with y'all the latest book I made. This is the finish of the little children's book. The siblings, I guess. I would call it siblings because all of the pictures I have are of multiple children in the single shot. And so I'm just going to simply call it siblings. Instead of trying to come up with a great name for it. If y'all can come up with something to help me, you know how I need your help. Anyway, this is a book on a felt base glued together. And the color scheme, as y'all can see, are pink and cream and brown. A pretty chocolatey brown. Pardon me. I have just come in from trimming my dog's hair. I have long-haired dachshunds, 4 of them. And they each got haircuts today, so I'm probably going to be a little sniffly until this passes. This particular book, I used a whole ton of doilies and the dangles off of pointed doilies, mainly for my dangles, I guess, on the bottom. I also used some square cuts off of some of the doilies that I had, just for a little bit of difference here and there. But mainly I did a point on the base of this one. And then didn't make it really, really long on the sides this time, as I did the edges. It's an oval base, and it's one of the larger books that I've made so far. On the front, I've made some velvet flowers, and I've also made some of the crocheted snowflake doilies I've put together to make some flowers. I've used some of the ones on YouTube for the tutorials on how to make those, and they came out really sweet. I also put a few little rolled up doilies as little rosebuds tucked here and there. Each of the pictures I've stuffed and then just framed out in different shapes, but with different types of edgings. This book I've already shown you, I think, the front cover and possibly the first few pages. But it was not finished, and I wanted to complete that and show it to you. Here is the spine. And then on the back of the book, I used, and around the front as well, I used what I'm calling the Bodacious Pink Twisted Trim. I love this. It's soft, and it's got a beautiful sheen to it. I believe it's some old stock that I came across, and I really love the color. It's a beautiful pink. I hope y'all can see that. It was the perfect pink for this book. And because there are boys in some of these pictures, I really didn't want to go overboard with the pink. Although, if some of y'all probably know this, pink used to be the color for boys. Can you believe that? And blue, I think, was the color for girls. And then, I don't know what happened to change that. I'm so glad they did, although I like blue as well. But I like pink better. I coffee dyed after I bleached these. There it goes. I'm going to get that hair in my throat. After I bleached these, I coffee dyed them and then turned them upside down so that one side would kind of bleed into the other and give me this beautiful two-tone trim color here of dark and light cream. Use some bullion fringe under that, and I really think that's a beautiful look. I'm real pleased with the way that turned out. I'm going to go ahead and head to the inside now. Lots and lots of lace. Had a lot of fun making this. Rolled laces to make some flowers. Same thing on this one. Actually, I believe this flower was made out of a lady's top, or even a little girl's top. I can't. Same as this. I used some clothing I'd found at the thrift shop. So Always looking through the clothing. Another one of those little doily flowers here. It's made up of 4 doilies that are folded towards each other. Folded in half, then folded towards each other. And I just love the way these come out. They're really fluffy and cute looking, and I always love being able to put anything in the center of those. I've used this trim that I found earlier this year. I got quite a bit of it, and I've really fallen in love with it. I've used it on a number of pages in the recent books I've made. It came with a velvet ribbon through here. And something I found out about velvet while I've been working on these books that do have some velvet in them is don't put your glue gun on velvet. It will melt it and leave a mark. So, just an FYI. I've also used some of the pink braid to help surround the picture. Layers and layers of laces. Some of the curtain trims that I have. This one is stark white, and in other places I've dyed it and used it as a coffee stain or tea dyed. Over on this side, I've done the same thing. Coffee dyed some of the laces and appliques. And then just cut the picture. This one I happen to do in a little swath there to kind of show off their stair steps. I always think of the kids as stair steps when they're all lined up like that. And then, of course, we have the notorious glue strings that I always have to pull out of the way. This page, the base of it is actually covered in a piece of dark brown fabric covered with this was a tablecloth with a lacy motif to it. Then as I did the edges with the crochet doilies and trims, I used this very light pink trim around here, and then I pointed inward a recent find of some lace trim, but under it I put a few layers of velvet ribbon, brown velvet ribbon, and it made this particular piece of lace really stand out. I really liked the look of it, and it brought the brown into this page. Also did that under this one over here. My favorite picture, because Pansy, Maisie, Max, and Ruby are in this picture, and I made sure I kept their names on here, ages 10, 7, 5, and 3. So I love that somebody wrote their names, so they live on forever with their real names. I love that. The next set of pages, more curtain trim, just layers of those. Another piece of the same applique that I used on the previous page that was coffee dyed there. I left it stark white on this page and surrounded the picture with some soutache, I believe is what this is. Whatever this trim is, I use it a lot. I love it, and it goes well with many things. Another piece of curtain material, half of a oval shaped doily with some embroidery on it, and again the pointed laces down at the bottom. Some of them, this pink edged one worked well on the page to add another bit of pink. This right here is also pink. I've had that for many years. Didn't actually have a use for it other than just look pretty. And then all of a sudden I started making these books, and it's like, pull out the old stuff, what do I have to use? So that's that page. And this little photo, I don't know if y'all can see it very well. 2 girls and a boy. This little boy is holding a hoop, it looks like, that they used to roll on the ground to play with. And look at his little hat with a little feather in it. Isn't that the cutest thing? I just love these pictures. That little boy and this little boy. These are some of my favorites. He's grinning big. She's grinning big. And they're just precious. So making this book was a whole lot of fun. I got to play with the kids on this one. Another, this was one of those little bread doilies. It's got 4 corners to it, and then the center of it is actually all together And so I got 4 pieces of this out of that one piece of embroidered doily. And I was really excited because I'm going to use that in some more books. A piece of curtain material, a little doily here, and then, like I said, I used some of the squared off pieces on some of these. This particular one is a squared off piece. This is some more velvet that I've rolled into some roses here and here. A folded up doily here that's just kind of folded in half and then smooshed together so that one side of it goes, you know, like in a rivulet back and forth, and tucked it in there with a little button. And then this is a pretty little pink chiffon rolled rose. I just needed something really small over here, and I was delighted to get those to come together like that. This piece of brown fabric is the same that I've used on some of the previous pages as a background. I folded it in half and made a very large gathered piece of it. It's a sheeny, shiny, soft, pretty piece. I'm not sure if I'm going to do anything to this. It's loose right now. Thought about tacking it down, but I really love the way it feels, and I like things to feel nice when I touch it. I like to feel it and know what the textures are, so I kind of left that one the way it was. Lots of little pieces of lace appliques just in the corners opposite each other. And then I did a little cut on this page so that they were opposite each other, and just kind of kept the picture the same, but the shape was a little bit different. I have enjoyed using different shapes on these photos. It kind of makes it fun to work with because it's something different. And in fact, it took me a few days to figure out how I was going to decorate this particular photo because I hadn't done it before. I didn't know how I was going to go about doing it. This little piece of rhinestone jewelry is actually a shoe clip. Just found it just a few weeks ago, actually probably the day I got sick with my cold. I was in town and I was at an antique shop, and that was the day I found those. So it was sitting here fresh waiting for me to use when I got better. This is an old earring I took the back off of, but it has these gorgeous brown stones in it and then some Aurora Borealis. I hope you can see that. It's just a real pretty little piece. But the brown, of course, went perfectly with this little book, so I had to use it. And then the last 2 pages, some more siblings. I've got one little boy on this left picture. He's the standalone boy in this one, with his 2 girly little sisters here. I guess they're older maybe. Their bodacious hair bows. Are not those funny or what? I hope I never had those in my hair growing up. If I got made fun of, I probably deserved it if I did that. But I love the laces. Look at the laces on this little girl's dress. And they're kind of a zigzag up and down. So I thought I would kind of mimic that, and I chose a little lace that did a little bit of that for down here. Little bit of fringe and some dangle laces. Some more doilies hanging down. Again, some little curtain pieces up here. Some mother of pearl buttons and some pink trims and laces. Another rolled velvet rose over here for this last page. A piece of dyed with Rit dye applique. This was Rit dye that I got Michelle Pipeling's tutorial on how to do the Rit dye and get a pretty pink. And I had to go on Amazon to find the Rit dye because my city does not have it. So I had to go and do that. A couple more pieces of that same dyed lace here. A little bit of ruffled trim here that I ran through the machine real quick. And some other pieces around here. Again, another page that I've bordered with this really pretty velvet lined lace trim. I've got lots and lots of it, and I'm excited that I finally am using it. Some of these little appliques, y'all may have some of these. It's a newer lace. I didn't do any dyeing to it or anything. It's just the natural color as it came. And that is that page. And then the back. So this is the sibling book. I don't know if y'all noticed, but there's a number of these little pink buttons. These are antique glass buttons. And I know that I've used them a few times throughout the book. Maybe it was back here. There they are at the bottom of this page. I'll put 3 of them back there as well. And they were a recent find. So I was excited to find some really pretty buttons recently on Etsy or eBay. I can't remember which it is. But anyway, that is the sibling book. I hope you enjoyed seeing it. I finally finished. Thank you all for watching and for commenting. Y'all have some wonderful ideas. I have used some of your ideas recently. I'm always excited to see what y'all have to say, and to know that y'all are watching is just incredible. I appreciate that so much. Hope you enjoy it, and I hope you get out there and in your craft space and try a lace book. It's really simple to do, and it's so enjoyable. I hope you try it and then let me see it. I'd love to see what you do. Thank y'all again. I hope you have a blessed day. Bye-bye.